I think I've been around long enough at this point, between my career as a assistant public defender and being on the bench for all these years, that it's nice to have the court, come down with edicts and, great law to try to change a great social issue. But it will change better and more effectively if we're able to collaborate with the other branches to make it happen first. I think litigation sometimes has to be the last resort, not the first resort. Because if you order people to do things and they don't really want to do it, they're never going to do it well or right. But when you engage people and you get them to collaborate on the issues and they become part of the solution, they're really much better and more likely to do a really good job with it. And we find that. Just starting locally here in Miami-Dade County, and I think the best role the judge can play is bringing people together. There's a certain moral authority of our office that if we use it well and right, you really can bring people to the table. You don't have to have the solutions. Other people can come up with the solutions. But we don't have programs, we don't have resources, nor should we. But I think we do have an obligation and a responsibility to bring those other parties and partners to the table, to get them to start discussing issues that we have in common. And I don't think there's anything more important in terms of a community problem that affects so many different agencies and institutions as people involved with mental illness. In fact, they're probably the most expensive people in a society when they go untreated, because they actually cross over so many different systems, more than anybody else, more than kids, more than anybody. And so it's affecting everybody, and it's not that many people. And if we can wrap our arms around people who are just sick and get all the partners together to provide them with the kind of services they need, they'll stay out of these deep end systems. They'll have a life, they'll go back to work, they'll recover, they'll pay taxes, and they won't commit offenses. And so we're seeing it, and it's amazing. We have 4 peer specialists that work for us now in the court system that have mental illness. 3 of them have gone through our program, and they're terrific. And they're working, they're getting paid, they're paying taxes, they're staying on their medication because they have a motive. They have an incentive. And so I know it works, and it works really well, and it's just been a wonderful opportunity and role that I'm happy to play. I just have a strong resolution, and I think I have a strong sense of justice and what's right and wrong, and I'm very persistent when I see it, and I know when it's right, and I think I have a very good center of gravity, and so I'm passionate in what I believe in, and I will do what I need to do in a positive way to make it happen. And it's easy because I've had such great results, so it gives me a lot of warm feelings to keep doing it. I spent time in India several years ago, and I think it gave me an amazing appreciation of how small we are in this universe. And so I try not to take myself too seriously, and I think that helps. I went twice for about 3 weeks each time, and you either love India or you hate India. There's no in between, and I loved it. It is a fascinating country of 1 billion people, and poverty like you've never seen, but growth like you've never seen. They're the largest middle class in the world, and some of the most fascinating architecture, and just a culture that just is very spiritual, and you can't help but feel it when you're there. So it was a great experience. I was very lucky. Travel, definitely, and everyone, if they have an opportunity, should try, because when you live in this country, as bad as things are right now, we're still very rich compared to the rest of the world. And it gives you a sense of entitlement you shouldn't have. And when you go to foreign countries like India, and you see such abject poverty, and we spent time in Old Delhi, and there was just millions of people in the street. I remember when it's a horrible flight, and because we went on frequent flyer miles, we had to go the long way, so it took like 26 hours to get there, and it it was very discombobulating and exhausted, and got out of the plane, and yeah, it was midnight, and it was summer, so it was already 100 degrees, and there were police, you know, hitting, you know, locals that were trying to beg money from you and throwing their kids towards you, and so we finally figured out where we needed to go, and we got in a cab, and we drove, you know, for a little while, and all of a sudden it started to have this really horrible odor, and I was dating this French woman at the time, and the two of us are like looking around, and all of a sudden we see like this pickup truck on the side of the road, and there must have been like 100 dead bodies piled up in this pickup truck, and the two of us just kind of looked at each other and like, oh my God, you know, where are we? You know, what have we just done? You know, and it was like a dream. It was so weird, and you're tired, and about 2 days later, when we had decompressed and gotten our wits back about us, you know, we started talking to people, and they're like, well, so many people live in the street, they just die in the street, and they just go by at night and pick them up so that it doesn't get people sick. You know, it plays its part. But at the same time, you know, you walk around at night and you're walking over bodies, and you never get a sense that someone would rob you or hurt you. And it's really a fascinating place. And so, I had great appreciation for India and the Indians, and I think it makes me a better judge. And like I said, I think helps you know your role in this universe. And it's short, and we're fortunate, and with that great goodwill, you should use it the best you can.